So we talk so much about the high tech, but if we really want to balance it, we should do much more high touch instead of trying to make a lot of rules on the high tech side.
And I find out that the small things are actually the big things, the
Oh,
things you take for granted, right?
if we only have a good self-confidence but a very low self-esteem, we will fall when we meet challenges and problems and whatever you need in life that makes you strong.
It's not that we need to change, it's that we need to balance.
And at the end of the day, the parents and the teachers should be on the same team.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this season's Teacher Talks. My name is Susan Gagliano with Europass Teacher Academy, and today I am going to have a brilliant conversation with two people that I admire greatly. I have here Mette and Peter Juncker from our Europass Academy in Copenhagen. And so thank you, both of you, for taking some time out of your busy schedule to be here with me today.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you for your invitation.
It's a real pleasure. And I also know that you, in addition to working with Europass Teacher Academy, you and Mette, you and Peter, for many years now, have been running an academy called the Mind Body Academy. And this has had an amazing impact on the well-being courses that you offer at Europass. And so I really wanted to delve into this today to understand a little bit more about who you are, how you work, and what are some of the cool ideas that like teachers come away with after having been in one of your courses. Okay. And so I just wanted to ask, you had talked about high touch. Okay. That you said, when I said, what shall we talk about together? And you said, I would like to talk about high touch versus high tech. And that immediately piqued my interest. What does that mean for you?
Okay, thank you, Susan. I think usually I speak a lot, so I think that we try something new today, and we 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 let Peter start talking because we have like different versions, different views because Body Mind Academy was actually established 20 years ago. We have 20 years anniversary today, or not today, this year, this autumn. And as you say, Peter, you are Mr. Mind and I'm Mrs. Body. Mm-hmm. So,
all right. So, Peter, what would let's start with what your thoughts are on this idea of high touch versus high tech and staying human in schools.
Yeah. Well, I think we should start with a little at another place, because I think a lot of people today talk about changing the school system. And in our opinion, we actually don't like that. We want to balance the school system. So, so it means when you balance the school system, then you both work with well-being and performance and try to find, the balance between the well-being and the performance. We work with the why and the how, try to find the balance between the why and the how. And now high tech is such a big topic. Should we go back to the books? How do we combine the books with the high tech? Should mobile phones be allowed in the school or not? So we talk so much about the high tech, but if we really want to balance it, we should do much more high touch instead of trying to make a lot of rules on the high tech side. So the word high touch, we didn't invent that. We worked together with a futurist, and she knows us very well. And we said, Annie, we always try to balance things. So now we have the high tech. So what could be the thing that could balance the high tech? And she said straight away, you are the high touch people, so it must be high tech. So the word is actually from her.
And so when you think of high touch, what does that mean?
Well, in many cases, or in many ways, we could do the Europass courses. That's an example. We could do that online. That will be no problem. But they actually come to Copenhagen or one of the other great locations in Europe, and then we are together. And then we do things together. Then we can really feel each other, and we can do some things that you cannot do online, where you need to be together. So that could be an example of high touch and high tech, but it's not enough just to be together. High touch is more than that. You also have to be present. You really have to feel you're there. So I think the society today is very good to be together in many ways, but it doesn't mean that we are present and that it's high touch. So high touch is more than just be together. So when you are present and when you can feel each other, the energy, and you really feel, wow, we are. I feel valuable and important here because we are present, and I feel I belong to this group and this place. Then we start working on high touch and strengthen the high touch part, and that's one of the main topics for us, because I think the world needs so much high touch. And I think when you go to schools in general, the schools are very proud of all the posters with the rules, the values, all the great things that we have in common here in this school. But if the students and the teachers and the parents cannot feel it, then it's only on the see and hear side. Then it's not high touch. Then it's only a poster. But if you can feel it, then you can say it's high touch, and then the values and all that on all the posters on the walls makes sense. Then they are real. But until then, it's just words on a wall or on a web page or whatever.
Yes. I think many times they don't really come alive. It's something that sounds very nice on paper. And so I'm sure people will be very interested in reflecting together with you on how do you get them, from the words, from the great ideas, the ideals, to actually being present with it. And Mette, is there anything you wanted to add to that about this high touch? Is there anything that from as Mrs. Body, was there anything that you wanted to add?
I'm just thinking, why did I say that?
You never say that. You get angry at me when I tell you that.
First time we actually talked about that. That was at a seminar where there were like 600 participants, and we were on stage, and Peter just out of the blue said, "And welcome to Body Mind Academy. And this is Mr. Body, and this is Mrs.
No,
this is Mrs. Body and Mr. Mind."
Yeah, I was
maybe it's changing. Maybe.
Yeah. I have something to add about high touch. It's also about how you can feel yourself, right? Because you put on a lot of masks today to fit in, and so that people can accept you, and so that you belong somewhere. Strong communities is really, really important. And the biggest fear that we have as a human being is actually that I don't belong anywhere. Feeling valued and important, and that is both from others, but also accepting myself and feeling okay as I am. And that is where it is important to have several tools where you include the body, because that is also where you have the self-esteem, the energy, the heart, and the great values. And if you're only up here putting on a mask, trying to fit in, you kind of stress about it, and you burn out at some stage because you cannot continue living your life like that. So high touch is also a lot about getting back into the body and accepting yourself as you are.
And it's interesting that you're talking about, that need to belong, because I'm sure as you've, worked with pre-adolescents and teens, and that is exactly what they need to do, and they need to find a new community, they need to find a new tribe. At the same time, they are struggling with their self-esteem gets beat up a lot more thanks to their social media use, and in ways that I think all of us that have we're beyond our adolescent years, we think, how are they managing all of that? And it seems like things that we just were able to do naturally. We were outside in maybe a more natural way. There was like an even more spontaneous use of our bodies that would help us kind of self-regulate, and the bike riding all around the neighborhoods. And it depends on, obviously what culture we're talking about. But there's also, as Jonathan Haidt talks about in The Anxious Generation, a lot of a need to overprotect children in the real world and then underprotect them in the virtual world. And so I was thinking about this. You had talked a bit about a balance model.
Yeah.
And I actually have a slide of it here that I would like to share. And if you could tell me, because Peter, you said something about the how and the why that got me a bit curious. So I'm going to share this. And if you want to tell me something about this.
Yes. Okay. Well, we have these two sides. We all have them. We have the outer world when we see and hear things, and then we have our inner world where we feel things. And it's going on the same time. And this society, we always say that the schools are a mirror of the society. So, and the society is so strong on the see and hear side. And that's why it's unbalanced. So what we are doing in collaboration with Europass and schools and you, Susan, is that we do our best to strengthen the feeling side, to get the system more in balance, to get people more in balance, the schools, everything. So, for example, if we have too much performance, as nearly all teachers says, then we need some more well-being. So if we have too much management, then we need some more leadership. If we are strengthening the self-confidence on behalf of the self-esteem, so we really have a lot of students, or some students with a high self-confidence get all the high marks. But if they really, if they don't believe in themselves still, then they don't really have the self-esteem. So it's like a tree. You have the crown of the tree, that's the self-confidence. Then you have the trunk and the roots, that's the self-esteem. So if we only focusing on the crown, it looks very beautiful, and the trunk and especially the roots are weak, then it's not a very strong tree. And if the weather is getting really, really bad, then the tree will fall. And it's the same with people. If we only have a good self-confidence but a very low self-esteem, we will fall when we meet challenges and problems and whatever you need in life that makes you strong. And when you get out of your comfort zone and extend your comfort zone and all that, what you need in life. So that's why we strengthen the feeling side. That's why our concept is on this side, and you can see the high touch and high tech as well.
Yes.
So it's our concept, not because the feeling side is more important than the see and hear side, but because the society, the systems, the school system, people in general are so unbalanced today.
I understand. And it's interesting too how you are putting self-esteem and self-confidence, right, on the two different sides. I think that people often use these terms interchangeably.
Yes.
I find that teachers will often talk about that. They'll talk about, I want students to be confident and their self-confidence. But what you're saying is that's a bit more of a surface. That's when they have received a lot of good praise and feedback, or when they have gotten good grades. But if there's nothing that's really solid underneath it the moment they get a bad grade, or the moment that, like you were saying with the storm, you lose a lot of leaves on your tree, and it's the self-esteem that's something deeper. And so what do you do, or what can teachers do in a very concrete way, or schools, to promote this? What kinds of things do you share with the teachers in your courses?
Should I?
You can start.
Well, it's first of all, it's very important that you actually you have you know the difference between self-confidence and self-esteem. And for many people, they really don't know that. Maybe they know the words, but they really don't know the difference, especially not how to strengthen the self-esteem. So what can they do? Well, we all are part of a system, and especially the school system is, there is a curriculum and there's the marks. That's how most schools are running. But you can still do some things, especially you can focus on the process and not only the results. And we have found out that more and more teachers actually focusing on the process and not only the results. Because if you're focusing on the process, you already start strengthening the self-esteem. When you give other people compliments, if I tell people you are a good leader, or you are a good mom, or you're a good student, you can see and hear that, and that's nice. But it's mostly for the self-confidence. But if you tell people why you think they are a good leader, or why they are a good mom, or why they are a good student, then it goes deeper, then it's going down to the roots. So I think we very often forget the why. And the why is actually working with the roots. The how is mostly with the crowd, doing things, all we can see and hear. But if we really have to feel, then we must also use the why. And we have, I think, a lot of our experience now is that if we use the why much more often, we also get more motivated students, because the why is also what makes students, then they find the meaning of what we are teaching and what we are doing. So there is a lot in the why about meaning, strengthening the roots, going deeper. So too much today is on the surface, and then we can see and hear, and then everything is fine. But that's not enough, because we also feel. And if we don't have some tools, and if we don't strengthen, the feeling side of what is going on the surface, then it's too weak. And that's what we see. Many students are stressed, depressed, anxiety, all early school living. So I think self-esteem in general and the why is key today.
Yes. And do you find that teachers, what kinds of tools do you find that they have, or that you actually help them develop? Because I think all the educators I know would agree with you. Yes. And then the question is always, but, I don't have much time, or I have all of this curriculum. And if I, spend a lot of time explaining, and I was wondering about that, because I hear that you do some really interesting things in your courses that get people thinking.
It's really interesting. If we talk about time, right? So we always make this little calculation to think about how much time do we actually have awake during a day. So if we have a very optimal sleep, it would be 8 hours. That would be the dream scenario. And then we have 16 hours awake, right? So if we make minutes out of that, that is around, let's say, 1,000 minutes awake. And if I tell you that it takes, let's say, 5-6 minutes, then you've done very well. Then you have charged a battery, the human battery. and you can feel yourself, and you can feel each other, and you can concentrate. So, so if that takes 6 minutes and we have 1,000 minutes awake, I know that we are not in school in 1,000 minutes, but then you can play around with those minutes. And at the end of the day, everyone agrees it's not about time. It's about change. It's about change. And it's about being brave, doing something different, you know? Because there is this old paradigm that taking care of the well-being is just an old paradigm. Taking care of the well-being, that should be within the families, you know? And in school, we are learning something. That's a very old paradigm, but it's still a paradigm. So it runs around in the paradigm that it's not the teacher's responsibility to take care of the well-being. But then again, what we experience with all the beautiful, great teachers that comes to Copenhagen is that they really, really badly want to do something about the well-being area.
Yes.
So what happens is when they get to know the balance model, and they find out it's not about changing anything, it's about balancing. You know, the shoulders gets down, and then then we get to the how do we do that? And then the next paradigm would be time, right? Time and money. And then it comes to the government. So we what we usually say is the time is solved because we get aware of that it doesn't take time. Those small practices where we charge the battery, so you get more ready in the lessons, and you can actually feel yourself. And if you can feel yourself, you can believe more in what you feel. So
can we try something? Can we try something now? What kind of a thing would you have me do if I were in one of your courses?
A very, very nice exercise would be, and it's very well known, it's just the belly breathing. And that is where we always start. You know, it sounds like a little bit silly because everybody knows how to breathe in the right way, right? You know, I didn't know before someone told me, because I was also from a generation where the flat stomach is really good.
That's right.
And flat stomach. If you have a fat stomach, you're not a part of the community. Let's say it's like that. So what we also make a very a lot of fun out of is like you unbutton your trousers, right? And let your stomach grow as big as it is. So let's do that.
Yes, I'm wearing my elastic waist.
Okay, but please don't take off your trousers. And then
no, not doing that. Okay, so let's give it a try.
Thank God the body is breathing for us, right? It's on a subconscious level. If we should think about to remember to breathe, we would die many times during a day because we are all up here caught in a lot of thoughts. That's normal. So now what we do, we take over the breathing from the body. And in the beginning, we just observe the breathing. So we just observe every inhale and every exhale, just observing. And it's a very good thing if you feel safe and secure about it to close your beautiful eyes, because 80% of all impressions from the outside comes through the eyes. So when you close your eyes, you can focus and you can concentrate. And then you just follow your breath. Every inhale, every exhale. It doesn't have to be in a specific way. You just follow the breath. Every inhale and every exhale. And then relax in your shoulders. No one expects anything from you right now. Just relax. Relax in your shoulders. Observing your breath. Okay. So on an inhale, you try to imagine that you blow up a balloon in your stomach. And on an exhale, you empty the balloon. You can give the balloon a color if you want, but don't think too much about it. It can be rainbow colored. So on every inhale, you blow up the balloon in your stomach. And on every exhale, you empty the balloon. I would just try that. 10 rounds. Inhale, exhale is 1 round. I help you out a little bit. I do the counting now. So I count to 5 on every inhale and I count to 5 on every exhale. So you do an inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 3, 4, 5. Very good. And don't open your eyes just yet. Now, I want you to feel your body. How does it feel in your body right now? If you don't feel any change, everything is okay. You don't have to feel anything. And what about your thoughts? How many thoughts do you have right now?
Less.
And what about your energy level? Did your energy level change? And what about you right now, Susan? Just honestly.
Yes,
honestly.
I feel a bit more present.
All right.
Obviously, in this kind of a situation where I'm thinking about and I'm anticipating and I'm right, and then this just brought me back to here.
You're back in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
You can think straight. But some people, they feel more tired.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ask, are you more tired or are you more relaxed? Because many people don't allow themselves to reach this state where they relax. Because when they relax, something is missing. I have to do something. Because when I do something, I am someone. If I don't do anything, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
If I feel myself, holy shit, what do I feel? And then so on and so on. Many people are very afraid of coming in contact with the feelings because they never learned about feelings. But every feeling is okay.
And they're also a bit uncomfortable with, they're a bit, they spend a lot more time on the side of the model where they're in performance mode. Yes.
Exactly.
And, I hear a lot of, there's a lot of conversation now about something like, practicing gratitude. And you have, some people who say, well, what's that going to do for me?
Yeah.
Mm,
Can I say the last thing about the belly breathing?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Because no, it's okay. Because if you're gonna do this exercise, you need to know, why am I doing this? If I don't know the why, I will never ever do it, because this will be a change in habits. If you are not doing an exercise like we just did, 10 inhales and exhales, closing your eyes, if you're not used to charge your battery like that, you have to know the why. Why should I do this? And breathing the right way will actually put you back in the zone. I call it the zone, in the now, where you can focus, right? And where you are leading the thoughts. It's not all the thoughts that are leading you. And the next one is breathing like this, which is actually the opposite way of breathing than when you are stressed. Because when you're stressed, you breathe like with your shoulders, right? And you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest nervous system, the recovery system, when you do the belly breathing. and you activate the big muscle, the diaphragm, when you breathe like this. So you massage the whole digestive system. And then we can think about how many people find it difficult to go to the toilet doing their thing.
Absolutely.
So, but we don't talk about it, okay?
No.
Many people. And if you can't go to the toilet in the right way, then you get sick because all your immune support is actually in your stomach. It's crazy thing what this kind of breathing can do for how many minutes? I think we did 2 minutes if we're lucky. But it's all about integrating a new habit. And if you're doing that, you need to know why.
Yes. And I think that this is something that anyone can use in any classroom, either to, I don't know, start a lesson or in the middle of the lesson, at the end of the lesson. And I think one of the biggest benefits is also for the teacher who's leading it, because maybe it's the teacher who really needs it. And you can do this with the kids, even though you are really the one that, meaning we can all use it, but it's not just something that you are wasting time on.
Yeah, but then you also have the question, okay, we have these noisy kids, and this would never, ever work in my class.
Right.
And then we say, you're totally right. Because if that is what you expect, that the same noisy kids will do the noise when you do this, yeah, they will disrupt it. But if you bring in another attitude to the class, another energy, and that energy needs to come from you. So you need to be excited about this belly breathing exercise. You need to have practiced it, and you need to have felt it, that this is important for you. Not that just that it is a good idea and someone told me I should do that in the class. You should, as a teacher, have felt it on your own body and be convinced that this is a thing we are going to do in the class. And then, yes, every class have very active kids and students and young ones and so on. I'm a very active one, for example, but give them a job. You know, they can be in charge of the time that you decide that we do this exercise. They can do the counting or whatever. And then a very important thing as a leader or as a teacher, focus on the ones who want to participate in this little exercise. Don't focus on the troublemakers. Focus on the ones that want to do this, that are with you, that are on your team.
Very good. So don't worry too much about the ones who are a bit more disruptive. And then, when you and I were talking, we had a great conversation last week in preparation for this. And we talked about the monkey brain. Okay. And so for anyone who's listening that doesn't know, about this idea that our brain, it's like we have this monkey, or maybe, many monkeys chattering all the time, jumping from limb to limb. And you said something that just really brought it home for me. And you said, give the monkey a job.
Exactly.
And what kind of a job can we give the monkey when our thoughts are going all over the place? Or in this case, this is also a child whose body is going all over the place, or they're being a bit disruptive. But in any case, well-being is a lot to this. And people in what you're talking about, they can't relax, that they feel that they always have to have a job to do. They're constantly problem solving over things that will probably never happen. And so what kind of jobs can we give that mental monkey?
Actually, only 5% of all our worries will be reality. Only 5%. That's, yeah. So one of the best jobs that always works for a monkey is focusing on breath and then counting the breath. There is a lot of research about breath. How long should your inhales be? How long should your exhales be? And so on and so on. That's another interview, Susan.
Yes.
But if you count your breath as I just did, 5 in, 5 out, and if it's small kids, it will be 3 in, 3 out. Then when you count, you actually realize that after the counting or during the counting, you don't have any thoughts. It's just like focusing on the counting.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, I said, just observe your breath. That's also giving the monkey a job, the thoughts a job. And never expect that you can be without thoughts. Thoughts will always be here. They will always be around. They will be put in the background when you give the monkey a job. That's what we are going after. That's the goal. But never ever expect that you can be without thoughts. That is misunderstood. And that is also why that many people, they give up on meditation because they don't know, they don't succeed. They think they don't succeed.
They think they're no good at it. And
Yeah.
once again, they get in the performance side, right? That I have to be good at it. And it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, well, as we're kind of coming to the conclusion of this, because time with the two of you always goes very fast for me. There's so many, you get me thinking about lots of things. And the other day, we did talk a bit about gratitude. And I was thinking about how for some people, they kind of roll their eyes, you know, like, okay, yes, I'm grateful for, but they don't necessarily benefit from it. And I think that you shed you were able to give me some insight into this.
Okay, there's actually huge research and science behind this. Practicing gratitude is for sure a very good thing. Practicing gratitude make you focus on what you already have instead of what you need, right? For example, this morning, we were in our little summer house. The sun in Copenhagen is shining and it's a very clear blue sky. And it's not so often that we have this. And we had to go back to the city for meetings. And my monkey said for just a moment, I'd like to stay here for the rest of the day, right? It's just a totally basic daily day example. And then I stopped myself. And then I was grateful for the time I had. Because if I am thinking, I want more time, blah, 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 I could do this, I could do that, I get out of the now of this precious moment I have right now, right?
So true. So true. The most, how often we'll say to people that, oh, today's really nice. Yeah, it's going to change tomorrow.
Exactly.
Or I don't know, like, what a beautiful Sunday. I know. And tomorrow I have going to start a really crazy week. And yeah, we jump somewhere else.
But that's a monkey being afraid of. If I really feel happy, what will happen? Okay, but when we always practice gratitude with the teachers and the headmasters when they are here with us. Nearly every course we mention gratitude and we practice. And many of them actually already did try it out. And they are a little bit shy about telling it didn't work out for me. But they certainly tell me after this because they succeed. And why do they succeed? That's because what they used to do when they practice gratitude, they have all these gratitude diaries.
Yes.
And they, for example, write down 5 things you're grateful for. The first day it works out really well. Second day, yeah, that's okay. Third day they forget, blah, blah, blah. Because they only write, I'm grateful for this, blah, 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 but they don't commit themselves. They can't feel it. So if they write down why they are grateful for that. For example, I am very grateful for being with you today, Susan, because every time I am with you, I am smiling inside and out because I really, really, honestly love your company. So could you feel that?
It's reciprocal. Yes.
So after that, they say, I will definitely, most of them, they say, I will definitely practice now because now I can feel it. It's actually changing something inside of me. I am actually looking differently on the outer world and being grateful for the small things. And they find out, and I find out that the small things are actually the big things, the things
Oh,
you take for granted, right? And then we have this little challenge because we always work in groups, and we create WhatsApp group for every group that comes here. I think everybody does that with Europass. And then many of them commit that they do X amount of days where they write down things they're grateful for. And the monkey also wants a special book. They want to start this gratitude, precious moment training when they have this special book. But we have the best books ever to do the gratitude diary. We just flip our notebook from Europass Teacher Academy, the little brown one, the
yeah.
little brown
Yeah.
notebook. We flip it around, and then that will be your gratitude diary. And what is exceptional about this book is that you can have it everywhere. It can fit in a bag, and it doesn't matter if you curl it a little bit, or it's just beautiful.
Yes. And are you saying that in these WhatsApp groups that people also would share some of their, even after the course, do they sometimes
Oh, yeah,
share?
definitely.
How lovely. How lovely,
And
because you feel that connection with others, and then the others also remind you. And it's such a skill to train your eye to look for what's working, to look for what is, instead of just noticing what isn't. And I think that this is more and more important in the world we're living in. And so, how is it? Other than, of course, coming to see you in Copenhagen at the Europass Teacher Academy, the two of you, are very busy doing trainings in schools as well with your academy. What would you like for people to know about that, and how can they find you?
Well, like that part of Body Mind Academy, is Kids Academy. Um,
And it's kids with a Z.
it's a
it's set.
set, KIEZ Academy.
Yeah.
I think what we are proud of with that concept is that it's developed together with children, and it's also it's develops every time we are together with the children. But in the last few years, it has really involved the parents. So from educating well-being ambassadors in the school, so kids they passed it on to other kids internal and to other schools and even to other municipalities. Now it's like it's more like the whole school community. So it's not only kids anymore; it's also the parents, because if there's a common language in the school and in the family, and across kids and parents, then you can really start strengthen the culture and really build a positive and a strong culture. And then
Beautiful.
yeah, and you start this interview with we don't have time and we don't have the resources and all that. So I don't believe that the schools will get a lot of resources, and we will definitely not get more time because we all have 24 hours. So we have to think in resources that we don't really that we have to use in another way. And at the end of the day, the parents and the teachers should be on the same team. So they should really benefit from each other and collaborate. But it's easier to say that than practice it. So they need some help.
Yeah.
And what I mean by the meetings and all the posters, we all do this, but it doesn't mean that parents and the whole community feel like they belong.
Ah,
So you have to practice it, and that's what we are doing.
and that's what you're doing in the schools, is you're bringing actual, like you're doing activities with the families, with the teachers, you're bringing them together as a community.
Yes.
And giving them a common language of well-being.
Yes. Yes. And have you been able to kind of trace some of this? Have you been able to follow a little bit? I don't know what even happens in schools afterwards,
Yes.
After they've worked with you.
Yes. I think, I think the topic of this meeting was high tech, high touch. And always it goes like, this. But
Of course.
if we're going back to the topic, I think a lot of the communication in the schools today, especially in Denmark, but I think it's overall, that's by the computer.
Uh-huh.
So this is very much high tech. So parents and kids, they don't have the same relationships as they had before. So you have to invest in these relationships. So when you bring them together, do the activities, then you strengthen the high tech side instead of the high tech with the communication, and it makes them closer. They some of the problems that there always will be. Your kids is coming home and said he said this to me today. He was not very nice, and she said that, and so sometimes the parents call each other and say, my kid says this. What about your kids? And then they found out there's nothing, and then they solve it. Instead of they have to involve the teachers, and then small problems they get very big, and and they can spend a lot of hours trying to solving that. So I think at the end of the day, that's another example of why high touch is so important, because you can prevent and you can really build some great relationships that I'm not saying that they can avoid everything, but they can avoid a lot. So if you put this time into these courses or camps where you really strengthen the high touch side and building relationships across kids and parents, then the return on investment, it will be quite big.
And, we have a library in our YouTube channel at Europass Teacher Academy of videos and talking to experts like you and Mette, talking to some of our colleagues in this network who have brought so many wonderful, concrete ways to do this. And that it's really important, Mette, before you use the word, to be bold and to have courage. And here we are, it's still September. Italian schools just started on the 15th of September, for example. It's still very new for a lot of schools. And maybe this year we can all together just take some more to feel a bit stronger in this. We are not alone. We are not alone in feeling that we need this, and we are not alone in making these attempts. And I think the whole idea behind this series of interviews, and I can't thank you enough for what you gave us today, is to actually show that there are ways to take some of the wonderful theory that we might read about and just apply it very simply and practically. And what I really got from this conversation also is that embodying it ourselves as adults, and then we'll really believe it when we're talking, when we're in front of a group of kids, and not feel embarrassed, and it hopefully, like you said, it's not that we need to change, it's that we need to balance. And that is absolutely, I'm taking that one with me for the 25-26 school year. And thank you so much. People can find you. We will put the website address in the comments of where they can find you. And thank you for all the work you do. And I hope to come and visit you in person very soon.
You're always welcome, Susan.
Thank
Great.
you for everything you are doing, Susan.
Thank you. We're doing our best. We are
Yeah.
doing our best. It's very, very important to me as well. These kids deserve it. And
Yes.
and we do too. So thank you and have a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you again for your time. And to everyone that's watching us, thanks for watching. If you want to get in touch, if you want to share this with anyone who you think might be interested, give us a like. If you want to ask some questions in the comments, we will be answering them. And thank you for being here.